Sup gamers, welcome back to some more regularly scheduled Legends of Runeterra content, and today we're going to be playing what I consider to be the best deck in the current format, and it might surprise you, but no, it is not Siren Song. Before I get into talking about the deck and everything, I do want to just briefly apologize for being gone for the past couple of weeks. I've had a couple of extenuating circumstances combined with my own kind of lack of confidence in my own content really kind of overtake the reason why I didn't want to record videos for this channel and all. But I'm back now. I've found some time to get into it, and I am ready to rumble with probably one of my favorite decks and what I think is one of the best decks in the game. And the reason why I think that Illaoi Swain is one of the best decks in the game in comparison to the Siren Song lists is because it just feels so dang consistent. Siren Song list feels like you need to hit either Reaver's or Siren Song in order to really do anything, and even then the first one of those isn't always guaranteed in every single matchup. In fact, I was playing a game of Narjin the other day, and I played Avenging Vestaya as a bush on mana 2. Turn 3, my opponent plays Siren Song. I denied the Siren Song. My opponent surrendered immediately. So it really goes to show that if there are ways that I can circumvent the Siren Song or ways that I can just beat them and go faster, then that is very realistically a good option for me overall. So what I have here is a Noxus Bilgewater list featuring Illaoi and Swain. The way that this deck works is that early game what we're trying to do is we're trying to get down Watchful Idols, trying to get down Tentacle Smash, Illaoi, Brewer, Lookout Eye, Nakake Boros, everything here to give ourselves this really impressive mid-range board that can then punch over top people with Illaoi. Illaoi forces removal because if her tools are left to I guess like kind of ferment, or no, what's the word? If they're left to last on the board for longer, the more that a threat that Illaoi becomes, and she can actually really close out games by herself. So that's where our initial bit of damage comes through. But then we also have a ton of removal. I mean, we're running a Parlay, we're running Disintegrate, we're running Heavy Metal, we're running Make It Rain, Mirai Warden, Pirouette, Noxian Fervor has some overhead that also gives Swain 6 level up. Now, Watchful Idol also gives 6 towards Swain's level up, so this is a really good card for Swain overall. And eventually, all these removal spells and all this allowing kind of mid-range game to try and push some damage onto your opponent's face is then finished off with a combination of Swain and the Leviathan. So that's really the whole game plan. It's not a very difficult one overall, but the lines that you have to take in order to properly remove your opponent's units and try to stay on board long enough is the difficulty curve of this deck, and sometimes you don't draw the exact curve that you want, so there's a lot of room for improvisation according to what you draw. Like, I don't think that there are really a whole lot of dead draws in the early game with this deck, to be quite honest with you, and we're running Mirai Warden just as like a little bit of extra insurance in the early game in case we need it. But overall, this deck does things, and it is extremely powerful, and I think that if you're trying to climb, this is one of the decks that you can bring all around, because I don't think that there are a ton of really bad matchups. There are a couple, but we're just going to ignore them and pretend like they don't exist. And that's about all I have to say for this opening deck text, so let's just hop right into some games, where I am currently Platinum 1 with 50 LP, and hoping to get Diamond here in this video. Okay. Match number 1, we're against Seraphine Jack. Ooh, okay, this will be a skill matchup. Seraphine Jack is a deck that I really enjoy. I like BB combo lists and everything. They're definitely some of my more favorite lists overall. We're going to go ahead and drop the Disintegrate and the Riptide Sermon here, because we don't need either of those spells early game. But we do want Watchful Idol and Seize Voice to help combo into our mid-game plan here. This is a great hand. I love this hand. This hand is fantastic, because opponent's deck doesn't really... It has to go the distance to try and remove our stuff early, I think, so we can actually outvalue them just by having higher value units. I'm going to drop a Mirai Warden here, because I don't think that with our hand right now, we're going to be doing too much more on turn 3 overall. Okay, so there is a Seraphine on board. I don't think we care so much. We'll pass for now. This could be a problem, though, once it gets to turn 5. Illaoi is a perfect find. Oh my gosh, we have the curve of all time. Opponent might also consider using this 2-mana spell, whatever they got. They got Inside of Ages. That's pretty cool. Into... I do have Fervor here. I will use Fervor. Okay, so Inside of Ages created a Jailbreak, which I guess that does really help them quite a bit. Wow. That's pretty good. But I don't think I care, because I'm going to play Seize Voice. Sure, I take 2 damage, and that's a little bit of a problem, but... I think that by next turn is going to be pretty good. Also, with the way that my opponent played their mana, they do not have 6 for next turn, meaning that they cannot Hex Obliterate our Illaoi. This is probably the best opener that you will ever get with this deck, is just Seize Voice, Mirai Warden, Mirai Warden with Watchful Idol into Seize Voice, swing, get 5 Overwhelm on this. This becomes a 7/6 with Overwhelm if opponent doesn't have a way of dealing with it. And they do. So I do have to be a little bit careful with the way that I attack here, but I think what I can do is go 1, 2, 3, right? Because this Illaoi is going to die to the 2/1, but we're still punching it for so much damage here that I think we can go for this, right? Oh wait, I gotta reorganize it. Yeah, getting our opponent down low on HP when we have Fervor backup and they won't be able to remove all of our units here is still really darn good. Because this is a 5/5, so that's going to be tough to deal with. This uses the single combat here, or the prize fight rather. And we still have a big tentacle. We still have these 2 units on board. Not at all upset with our options here. So prize fight goes here. That's totally fine, right? This is a main deck card in the deck, but forcing our opponent to use removal early on. They could also have a Mystic Shot going through here, which would kind of suck. But I'm still hitting in for 6 Overwhelm with Illaoi. Getting our opponent down to 9 HP off of this attack is pretty good. You're blocking 4 HP if you block here, but they want to keep the Seraphine alive, which is understandable. Seraphine staying alive is fine. But preventing the damage, I think, is better, because first Seraphine is usually just used as like a spell bot. So going down to 7 HP against me does not feel like a very good option overall. I almost leveled Illaoi too, because Prize Fight's a funny card. But yeah, bringing him down to 7 HP. They do have mana now for BB on board, which is a little bit scary. But I think BB versus a Noxian Fervor or a Swain even will be fine. Noxian Fervor does level Swain immediately. Opponent's trying to think of whether that's the right option to go for or not. And if they pass here, I will take the pass, because then I can play Swain next turn. Okay, so BB's on board. I want to pass for now. Maybe I should have played Swain, actually. Because I wanted to be able to play Fervor, you know, into things here. It's unlikely that Swain gets to live if I didn't play him there now. Or in that turn, so that might have been a bit of a misplay. But, oh well. If I Fervor Swain Parlay, that's kind of bad for me. If I attack with the Tentacle, they can remove it pretty easily with a couple of other things here. But I think it might be best to just attack with the Tentacle in general, because this takes them down to 5 HP if they don't block it, and they don't want to use these units to block with. Maybe the Seraphine, right? So what this means is that my opponent will be then forced to use a bunch of removal spells on my Tentacle, and I punch in for 3 damage, get the Swain leveled up, and then have a Parlay backup as well. So I think this is quite alright. They're going to be burning a lot of spells here to remove this attack. Maybe I shouldn't have attacked with Seize Voice? It's kind of a hard call to make. At any rate, get to go through here. Looking for removal. Trying to think if using the... Okay, line up. Sure. So that'll make whatever they shoot at this next deal extra damage. Could be a Mystic Shot now that's removing this. Totally. Or a Seraphine's High Note. So second Seraphine in hand, which means that I will Fervor to face just to put them on a 2-turn timer with Leviathan now. Okay. And second removal. Cool. 6 damage to face. This is where things start to fall apart now, because I didn't play Swain last turn. That was a misplay by me. But then again, you know, you do run into the issue of, like, you know, this kind of board, plus a knock him down. Oh, but that's no... Yeah, they don't matter for it. We'll play Swain 1. We have Flock to kill Seraphine now. And I think I will use it while they're just out of options. So, do this, shuffle a Swain back in. We have Leviathan available now. So that brings Swain up to 10. Unfortunate that the Fervor didn't connect, but I don't think we can really expect that in this list, unfortunately. Make it rain, huh? Make it rain would level Swain. Make it rain would indeed level Swain. And it also takes out this keg if they have a way to remove Swain from the board here. So what if I just parlay to start with? You know what happens here? Because this levels Swain. Instead of playing Leviathan, just trying to remove the keg first. Forcing them to have answers. And that is 1 spell. Potentially. Okay, high note. Into second Make It Rain, or into Make It Rain here. So I'll do this to ping it. And I think that should be okay. Always something, huh? Ah, deals damage to face. That's fine. Yeah, because Swain's not taking the damage from it. I do the 3 in order to do that, but damn. I could lose to this BB right away, because I just haven't been able to remove it efficiently.
Victory awaits.
And that's just where it falls apart. Ideally, I would have the Scorched Earth, but we are running that only as a 1-of here. This flow, thankfully, doesn't give them the full value, though. They can't, like, heal back up now. Only. They're thinking of attacking because of a potential high note in hand. And if I attack, what's going to happen here? What's going to happen? They block with BB or have more removal, which is very likely, but they did have to use Formula last turn for it, and then use an Ebb to try and RNG it. So, if they do have removal, it would have to be top-decked here. Ah, sputtering. This is going to be really rough if they find pretty much anything, really. So, burst speed spell into some kind of removal can be really bad for us, especially because Sputtering Songspinner is just going to find something right away. Weapon Hilt, it's fine. I'm okay with that. And the Inner Beast, okay. So, is that removal? No, that's Brother's Bond. What if, now hear me out, right? I go Fervor here, right? Because that's lethal. Huh? Huh? What do you think? What's it gonna be? You've used all of your spells. Oh, the warning shot! No! No way. Oh, that was so close. Wow. The 1 HP winner here. Oh my gosh. I'm so proud that I saw that line with the Fervor. The second Fervor getting us the perfect lethal. Oh, and they almost burst lethal. That's the warning shot. Down to 1 HP. Man, my heart can only take so much, but GG's. I'm happy with that result. Oh, hey, it's Rito ruined my life. This is not good. The reason why this is not good is because, one, they're playing Bane Aatrox Quinn, which is going to be a deck that's difficult for us to deal with. But secondly, they're also in this tournament that I'm playing this Friday, and I'm worried that by running into them, that they might be scouting out what I'm playing here. Because, spoilers, I will be playing this. Maybe a slightly different variation of this list, but this is definitely something that I want to run. I doubt they recognize me, though, because my name is, you know, not the same as it is in tournament, so we'll see. Okay, so we have 1 idol. What do you say to the price of 2 Watchful Idols? Ah, Broadwing. You know what? That's understandable. I'm going to pass. Get everything beefed up. We have Tentacle Smash, which is great here. Kills either Broadwing or even a Vayne this turn if they choose to play it. Because they won't have the way to... okay. Okay. So what I can do now is use Heavy Metal here to destroy that equipment, deal 2 to the unit. Absolutely beautiful, because now this Broadwing does not pose a threat to me at all. It's only a 1 damage formidable unit. And it doesn't even have Challenger anymore. So, Heavy Metal, value, as they say. And that's a 5/5. So, what do you say to... Do I play Illaoi here or Seize Voice? I think Illaoi's better. Because if we swing here, Illaoi's going to be an 8/6 with Overwhelm. Which is pretty big overall. I think I'm only worried about Form Up, right? And even then, like, Form Up, we still push damage through and get the unit off the board? Maybe Form Up was actually a consideration. Wow, no Form Up. That's really good. That's super good. What? Okay. Wow, things are actually going a lot better than I thought they would for me. I have Illaoi, I have another Tentacle Smash in hand, or a Tentacle Smash in hand. Illaoi levels, and then that means the next one that we have is leveled up. Swain is leveled in hand as well because of the plays we've been able to make there. And now, Tentacle Smash. Kill this thing. Give me my Illaoi level. Beautiful. I don't think that Aatrox Twin Vayne typically tends to play a lot of single combats and that sort of thing. But, you know, things are looking pretty darn good. Okay, so now we don't worry about the Patricide Broadwing quite as much. I'm going to pass, because I do want to play Seize Voice. Seize Voice! And I think I'll play it now. I'll play Seize Voice, you know, say like, okay, cool, you have your Broadwing killing my Illaoi, which means that she won't be able to swing on the next attack, but this does mean that you have the chance between killing Seize Voice to prevent the Overwhelm from going through, or you have to kill the Illaoi and prevent her from getting big stats. And honestly, it's going to be the Illaoi going down here. No doubt about it. Unfortunately not able to trade the unit back because of Darken Harp, which is a card that I have become frequently frustrated with, actually, in Legends of Runeterra generally, but that's also just me. I don't have any damage-based spells, so I'm not going to play Swain here. I'm just going to double draw with this. We do have Parlay now. But we didn't have that before, so no real way of knowing if that was going to actually work or not. And we are just pushing so much damage with this attack. Look at that. Down to 7 HP now. Of course, we lose the Seize Voice, but getting the Broadwing off the board feels pretty darn good. We have Mariah Warden in case I feel like I need a board refill. I'm tempted to use Parlay on that, but it is my only damaging spell right now. So I'm going to pass. And play Swain on the next turn here. Swain's 23 out. Oh yeah, because of the... Right, that makes sense. Yeah, opponent surrendered. Yeah, like, I again, hit a really good curve in the early game. You can see how powerful this deck is when you hit those units early. And because we hit that really powerful curve early game, oh my god, he's in Diamond. He's just so much better than everyone else. Hold on, I gotta screenshot that and send it to... send it to friends. Okay, Nico with the Elites playing against Space Ramen. Playing the Illaoi Swain deck. This is a terrible hand. You never keep any of this. In case any of you at home are wondering, never keep that hand. Always looking for the early tentacle stuff. Seize Voice is the only card that we really like seeing early on. Illaoi's not bad, and we do have attack on odds. I would prefer to have attack on evens, but that's okay. Attack on evens means that we can, you know, play Illaoi with the tentacle and then swing with her. But interesting. Grandfather Fae. I don't think this is a normal card in the Nico card list, so that might be Nico right there. What if I just shoot Nico? What happens then? Anything bad happen if I do that? There are also other ways of doing it. I think Riptide Sermon here is actually really decent, right? Because we shoot Nico, we get a spawn 3, we deal 1 to Nexus, so we deal 4 with this. I'm a fan of this. I think we'll do this instead. Boom. Oh, that wasn't Nico. Okay. So they do run that as a normal card. Good to know. I'm just going to swing in. We want to, we don't really care about trading into this Owlcat or not, unless there's a buff card, but I don't think that, if my memory serves correctly, Nico Elites does not run a bunch of buff cards. Really what they're trying to do is, like, swarm the board out, get a bunch of cards with subtypes onto the board, and then eventually trying to, crush you with these massive boards at the end of it. And, Make It Rain's a really good find. You get to kill this. Bonehide Tri-Tail is a little annoying, I suppose. Does kind of like ruin my chances of being able to do things. But what I can do as well is go for Heavy Metal, Make It Rain. And there's no 1-mana buffs that I know of in these lists that keep all of these units alive. And I know, going 2 for 1 on a Bonehide Tri-Tail, not the greatest idea overall. Oh, that was Nico! Bye, Nico. Shouldn't have picked a 1 HP unit, but I think we're doing quite well here. I'm going to drop I have Nagakeboros. Make this tentacle big, draw 2 cards. And I'm doing this at burst speed just to get the 5 damage into face. Because I'm just worried about opponent being able to stick a bunch more units on board. Yeah, like Scrutinizing Sergeant. Would have traded into a Sea's Voice. Illaoi with the tentacle that I had would have gone up to a 4-2 to hit for 6. 6 might have been okay. But I was honestly expecting more than 1 unit this round, or something that could trade up easier. So, I have no real idea. Hey there, Jarvan. You rat. It's kind of annoying, but whatever. At least it wasn't a champion there, so I think I'm okay. Now the question is, do I play Illaoi and then Mirai Warden, or do I play... I'm gonna play Mirai Warden. Oh wait, it actually doesn't matter with their mana. And then Illaoi. And we end round. Not a whole lot on my opponent's board, which is good. I do want to play Sea's Voice. I could also play Levy here. Levy would be pretty good overall. If I play Sea's Voice, though, that means that I'm threatening to make it so that Jarvan can't block Illaoi quite as easily without going for a trade or a buff spell. If I play Leviathan, it just means that I'm trying to slow roll this a little bit more, and then I draw a second Swain. And I think that as things stand right now, my opponent's board isn't threatening me all that much. They don't have champion strength mana. So I am going to play Leviathan. Final answer, Levy. This also opens us up for a Pirouette next turn. Don't care about Illaoi. I'm just going to keep passing here, because there's honestly not a ton more for me to worry about now. Especially because double ping, almost level Swain, Pirouette does level Swain, and that should be the end of it. I don't want to swing with Levy into their units, because they'll just block and then have a good trade for Jarvan on a following turn. Problem will be champion strength the next turn. Tweely Protector, that's definitely Nico there. I, again, don't think that you ever run Tweely Protector in this list. Ba-boom. We have Pirouette, we have Make It Rain. Yep, there's champion strength. I'm going to open Make It Rain here and see if I hit anything valuable first. Or, is that right? Is that the correct play? I think it is, yeah. Because we can do this. Oof, not a great hit. I really wish I hit the Tufted Web Spinner specifically, but here we are. Now I have to Pirouette, so we'll deal 1 and... Or should we deal 1 here and stun here? Deal 1 and stun. Blocks, blocks, blocks. Only problem is that I only have 1 fearsome blocker, but that's quite alright, I think. Hi, Nico. This could be just bad, though, overall, because champion strength was pretty backbreaking there. is a Nico attack. Maybe I should have gone for an attack last turn, just all things considered. But man, this attack with Nico is going to go pretty hard. So I don't really have a whole lot else to deal with here. I deal with this board, you know. I can't take all this damage. And then with Jarvan being leveled on board, oh, the Jarvan draw. Yeah, no, that was my mistake. The mistake there that I had was not attacking with Illaoi the previous turn, and not playing for an Illaoi attack, and instead trying to play for Swain when I know that they're going to be swinging for lethal here. Anyway, I'll just drop C's voice and say GG's, because I know that there's nothing else that I can do to this board overall. That's pretty good, though. That is a pretty good swing overall. GG's, Space Ramen. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. Non-profit playing Teemo Shrooms. This is a lineup that I should be scrimming against more. Because I am actually, as funny as it sounds, I am expecting to see a lot of Teemo in the tournament on Friday. So this is a matchup that I need to look into. And getting a Teemo swing in does feel kind of annoying, honestly. I think if I don't find a ping spell, I'm just going to Tentacle Smash this Teemo right away. Get my Tentacle out there, get the Teemo off the board, do the out-of-combat damage for Swain. Of course, this gets punished by a second Teemo, but I think that just, you know, as far as play styles and everything goes, this is just a line of play that I have to go for. Another thing that I could have considered would have been saving my mana for this turn to use Riptide Sermon on a, yep, on a Puffcat Peddler. This is exactly the card I was thinking about. I'm going to pass. They pass back. Totally chill. Levy is here. We could Riptide Sermon. We could Illaoi. I think Illaoi, the problem with playing Illaoi... Wait, no, there is no problem with playing Illaoi. If I play Illaoi, this goes back up to... This goes to a 3 at most, down to a 2 at least. But with the way that these things are going here, I can just do this. Witness Truth. Now this gets removed, of course. I get a hit for 5. Kind of a bummer, but I think it's okay considering we have double Riptide Sermon. Oh, they have a Wallop. Oh. Well, okay, hold on. This actually just got a whole lot better. Now that they're out of mana, I can freely Tentacle Smash with second Illaoi here and kill one of these Puffcat Peddlers. So I'm going to do that. Do not want them having any more units on board here.
A life lesson. Duck.
A life lesson. Duck. I love Illaoi. Illaoi's voice lines are great. So, such a fun character in terms of voice lines. Some people would say that she's a nightmare to face in League, but, yeah, that's whatever. A Mirai Warden?
Nice to meet you.
I'm actually really okay with them playing Sump Monument here. And that's entirely because my next few attacks now are going to be gargantuan. Like, they've played this so early that their own spells and everything just aren't going to be quite enough to handle me here. We could go Riptide Sermon now. And of course this will get replied to, like, their response will be to play a bunch of spells right now. And try to get my deck filled with as much mushrooms as possible. But getting this up to be an 8 attack unit, getting Illaoi up to be a 10 attack unit and everything, is going to be quite detrimental to their cause. Because even though, like, yes, they are planning Shrooms, and even though, yes, Sump Monument doesn't level Illaoi because it doesn't count for her striking the Nexus when she's only striking the deck with Sump Monument. Fun fact. Also, if you're getting hit with a lifesteal unit and you have Sump Monument on board, don't block the lifesteal unit because it doesn't deal damage when it strikes Nexus. It only deals the face damage directly. But yeah, a couple of things here. Okay, yeah, no, that's fair. Totally reasonable. Taking out the Mystic Shot, getting more Puff Caps planted in, but we get a nice bit of damage in here with all of our things. Plant 4 Shrooms. They have 2 mana left. It is their turn. I don't think they fully realized that for a second there. And I think... I mean, hell, I'll even play this next Illaoi. right? But this won't level her. I'm tempted to play the next Illaoi, but I think I need to point it at a valuable unit here. Unfortunately, no condense. So no condense means that I can't be copying any of their Karinas that come down next. Hello, Teemo. This is why I'm glad that I didn't play Tentacle Smash. Because I get to do this now. Also Diamond 4. This is a really cool feature, by the way. Being able to add the... person in game. Big tentacle damage. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to level Illaoi anytime soon. Just like as the nature of what we're running into here. Secure me tail. Stop daddy. I could honestly like Swain here into a Mega Rain, which would be pretty good. Oh, that's interesting. Bristlehog. So Bristlehog, for those of you who don't know, was a card that was released with this patch. Once an ally has transformed this game, grant me +1/+1. And I keep forgetting that transforms also count champion flips. Poisoned Archer. Understandable, really. I think Swain just threatens a lot here. I'm going to hit the Make It Rain. And not just to stymie the attack, but also to punch more overwhelm damage with Swain here. Nexus Strike. So it's not to when I deal damage to the Nexus, right?
Oh, that's a harvest right there.
When you deal non-combat damage, that's when the stun goes through. But the damage to deal 3 to all enemies goes through when he Nexus Strikes. So we hit 1 mushroom. What do they hit? 1 mushroom as well. Okay, I understand. Very cool. Alright, so here goes all of our damage. Which now means that they have to have, like, a ton of spells to try and plant more mushrooms and stuff, but look, like, you're just getting hit with so many shrooms now. This is the problem with playing the Sump Monument too early, is that you get planted in way too deep. Or way too deep, right? Aftershock to remove that, yeah. I don't think that there's a whole lot going on for my opponent. I would ideally also have a Scorched Earth here, but here we are. Draw my Swain. Get those mushrooms actually out of the deck is really good early on before they have a Karina available. So, yeah, this Ava Achiever, I could still die. It's very possible. But my opponent is definitely on the ropes here. So, I just planted 8 more shrooms into their deck. They drew 3? I drew 1. So, I think we're doing quite well here. I don't think this kills me, right? It shouldn't? Oh, famous last words. GG's. Wow. So they had 166 shrooms in a 20-card deck, and they hit 3. Damn. Alright, well, good games anyway. It was a close one. Okay, so that'll do it for the Illaoi Swain, or the Sea's Conquest, as I call it. Brought in some decent results. Other matches that I lost narrowly at the end there. I felt like I still could have won. I feel like there were just a couple of operative things that I did incorrectly. Basically, don't try to slow roll yourself too much. You have to know when to swing in and everything. Like, this deck does have a bit of those kind of play patterns. But overall, like, very gratifying. Swain is an extremely satisfying champion to level up. Illaoi is really satisfying to level up. And overall, just a really good deck I would recommend for climbing in this season, and even bringing to some competitive scenes if you're going to be doing that. But that's all that I have for this video. Thank you all so very much for coming back and watching my commentary. And hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care. Goodbye.